good to see you all. We'll get started in just a little bit. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I started it and then disappeared before anyone else was in. But usually you do that. Usually you do that.
I don't think I can though, because I'm on my phone. Let me see. Maybe I can. No, I can't. I don't think I had that control. Check. So good to see you. Welcome. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Yai lai la lai la lai lai la lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai la lai la lai. Yai la lai lai. Yai lai la lai lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It takes three things to attain a sense of significance, wrote Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. God, a soul, and a moment. These three things are always here. Just to be is a blessing. Just to live is holy. And tonight we have so many blessings. The celebration of the many generations of leaders who have dreamed and inspired our congregation into this joyous centennial. And my installation, which gives us a chance to celebrate the sacred relationships that we are developing with one another, our present and our future. Right now, I'd love to call upon our Temple's board in order to collectively lead us in lighting the candles on page 120.
Oh, she's getting done.
Cats.
Use the microphone, Marla. Use the microphone. Pick up the microphone.
Page 120, everyone.
Pick up. On. Turn it on.
It's on.
It's on?
Yes.
No, you say it's not on. You say it's on. Shabbat Shalom. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Amen.
Our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you all so very much. And as you go back to your seats, I invite everyone here to look around the room, to send a hello, a Shabbat Shalom across the room at all the wonderful faces, all the wonderful people here, and for those of you online to greet one another as well.
Shabbat Shalom.
As we continue to greet one another, we also greet Shabbat with Lecha Dodi And when we get to our final verse, we'll rise in body or spirit, welcoming in the Sabbath bride.
Page 138.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשירות תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise if we are able and face the doors through which we entered as we welcome the Shabbat bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Mary Zamor. I'm the Executive Director of the Women's Rabbinic Network, a partner organization of the Reform Movement, and I'm honored to participate virtually in tonight's service. This is a season of celebrations for you, of course, not only the centenary, but also the installation of your rabbi, Rabbi Cassi. I think of the words that we say at these happy moments, the Shechianu blessing. We think of God, who's the source of life, who sustains us, and who allows us to reach happy seasons. Shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. And so it makes a great deal of sense, albeit because of the pandemic, that you're having this celebration of installation a bit later than usual. I actually think it's quite wonderful. First of all, we all need more joy. But really, you've gone through a period of formation, Shehakianu. You've gone through this period of formation when you paused and thought about who you were as a community and what type of rabbi you needed to lead you in this next chapter of your communal history. And then, of course, Rabbi Cassi came into your lives and into your community during this very challenging time, not only for Temple Bethel, but of course for the entire world. And so you have already experienced her rich gifts and expertise that she's brought here now to your community. You've already started to form connections and lived experience together and history. And so now, after that kiyamanu, after that sustenance being sustained, you come to higianu, you've come to the season of celebration. I think of it very much as couples that come together in love. They find their bashert, they find their match. Sometimes then for months or even years and years, spending time together, building that relationship, and then finally standing under the chuppah and celebrating and really solidifying that relationship through ritual. That's really what you've all done here today, that you are finally standing under that metaphoric chuppah and you are bringing words of the heart and emotion through the power of ritual to this moment. And so I hope that you are indeed celebrating with full hearts as you recognize what a talented rabbi you have to lead you, that you have, of course, already gained from so many gifts, but you will continue to gain from Rabbi Cassi's wisdom, creativity, her passion, her warm embrace of all within your community, and of course, the deep creativity that she brings to everything. She is a wonderful educator, engager, and leader. May you all go from strength to strength, and may you flourish as a community together. Mazel tov.
Throughout this service are the words of some of my mentors and colleagues that have inspired my rabbinate. I can say in absolute confidence that I would not be here today if it wasn't for Rabbi Mary Zamor and all of the inspiration that she has given to me. You will also hear from my mentor and friend, Rabbi Marjorie Sloan, who I was blessed to work with both before and after seminary. My dear friend, Rabbi Michal Loving, one of the best community colleagues that I could ask for, Reverend Amanda Riley of the Garden Church, and finally from our very own cantor, Alan. Tonight, as you know, our celebration is twofold: my installation and also our centennial as a congregation. The two are inextricably linked, as are the rings on the chain of tradition. For the occasion, the great artist Mordechai Rosenstein created a stunning piece of art for our temple's centennial, and it was created to honor all of our temple's values. So Mordechai will share a little bit of that inspiration now.
Barry, do you want to bring the piece forward as Mordechai talks about it?
Good Shabbos, everyone, and a special mazel tov to the congregation, to the rabbi and the cantor and the president. You're 100 years. I know the rabbi's father-in-law for many, many years. It's wonderful. I'll understand he'll be there again. Well, the idea was, for 100, it would be easy to write the letter 100, the numerals 100, and put some interesting objects in the center of the zeros. But then we thought, the cuff is much more interesting as a letter, as a shape, and it really lent itself to the idea of Beit El. And there were certain objects which was requested they include them. There was, I believe, was Devorah under the tree? Oh, I should have done my homework. When I did it. It was Devorah, a prophetess under the tree. And then there's the rainbow, and also at the bottom is the Jacob's ladder. And also the lower left is Abraham's tent, which, like your synagogue, is open on every side, but welcoming on every side, welcoming whoever might come in. So that's a wonderful, thoughtful image. Makes a lot of sense. And then there's the Jacob sleeping under his ladder, having the dream of angels ascending and descending. Now, the point is that he said when he woke up, he said, I didn't know this was Beit El. This was the gate to heaven. This was the house of God. And the rabbis tell us that was the Temple Mount. So all the images have a lot of meaning and represent and just tie it all together and give it a lot of meaning, which I I hope I got the Devorah right. And maybe the cantor could correct me, or the rabbi if she's there. When I did the image, I knew what I was doing, but I missed that one. So again, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Mary and I, really wonderful. It's, I'm a few miles away, but still I can feel the spirit. And the Bible players are also an excellent group. You'll enjoy them very much. So again, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for the opportunity to create your 100th anniversary piece. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, Mordechai, for this beautiful, beautiful piece of art, which you'll be able to look at more closely after the service as well. And as Mordechai explained, our temple Centennial artwork is full of these symbols and these metaphors. You'll notice that in addition to the Hebrew name of our temple and the letter Kuf, Jonah, hold on 1 second.
Oh.
1 more second.
It's on the screen
Then you
behind
can
you.
go.
That's why he was.
Great.
That's
okay.
why he was stepping.
Then it's
away.
up to you. But you'll notice that in addition to that stands for 100 years, there's 5 symbols, of which Mordechai touched on most of them, right? So the first, which Rabbi Mary Zamor spoke about, is represented by this rainbow. A rainbow is a symbol of a covenant between God and the Jewish people. Likewise, it's a symbol of the Brit, of a sacred relationship and commitment that bring us together, that call us to be here for one another at times of hardship and times of joy, and pray together and learn together and celebrate together side by side. In short, it's the symbol of community. Other images include our Torah scroll, which inspires Jewish wisdom, the open tent of inclusion and embrace, the symbol of Devorah beneath the tree, responding to the needs of her community, in search of Tikkun Olam, making the world a more just and compassionate place. And finally, the symbol of Jacob underneath the ladder, recognizing that God was in this place and he just simply hadn't realized it yet. Sacred relationships, Torah, inclusion, Tikkun Olam, and spirituality are central to Temple Bethel's past, present, and future. Likewise, they are central to my rabbinate. Together, let us rise as a sacred, unified community in order to offer our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Thank you so much, Jonah. We're on page 146.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la.
On page 149, we continue. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv arabim. You may be seated as we hear a few words from Rabbi Margie Sloan.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Kail, for inviting me to say a few words at your installation. It's such an honor to be here, albeit virtually. Rabbi Kail asked me to parse or drash a bit on one section of this magnificent piece of artwork in honor of your temple's 100th anniversary, specifically the Torah in the Aron with open doors. I love that the artwork's Torah is an open rather than closed ark. The openness of the ark is an invitation to step inside and discover its riches. For in Torah you will find the birth of humanity, the story of the first Jewish families, all stories that bring you here this evening. And so I want to say a few words about Torah. It has been called a love letter from God to the Jewish people. It's considered sacred or holy fiction and a provider of a blueprint for living. It is from our Torah scroll that the Jewish people's ancient beginnings find their source. Torah itself is the first link of the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition passed down from one generation to the next. Now, I have a very liberal understanding of what Torah is. I understand it in its most expansive terms, because for me, Torah is a composite of all of the teachings about Judaism and Jewish life that have been passed down from one generation to the next. Each generation of the Jewish people have added to what Torah is. Yes, Torah relates the stories of our forefathers and foremothers and their sometimes dysfunctional families, and are often not such great parental role models. And Torah is a record of our experience as slaves in Egypt and our redemption, and that fleeting taste of freedom before the journey from Egypt to Sinai into the promised land became a kvetch fest. Despite the real speed bumps the desert wanderers experience, Torah remains our roadmap and guide to what we call today Jewish life. Torah gave birth to the rabbinic legal rulings and the rabbinic literary imagination, the Jewish rites and rituals from birth to the grave, the Jewish cyclical calendar from one Rosh Hashanah to the next, and the kugel recipes from your mother's kitchen, Yehuda Amichai's poetry, Robert Zimmerman's prophetic music. Each finds its source in Torah. The relationship and creativity that began with Abraham and God and recorded in Torah continues through today. Torah creates the chain of tradition that is your inheritance, whether you've been born into our tradition or partnered with someone Jewish and along for the ride, or are generously giving this gift to your children. Each one of you tonight is a sacred link in what we call the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition. And you have graciously entrusted Rabbi Kail the opportunity to take the Torah out of the Aron, to be your teacher, to impart Torah's wisdom, to be your spiritual guide and your designated listener. This death-defying treasure we call Judaism, who finds its deep roots in Torah, this precious gift is yours to receive, to love, to disagree with, to find meaning in, and guarantees to make your lives more meaningful and richer, and is yours for the taking. And you are blessed to have Rabbi Kail lead all your sacred endeavors. Our sacred Torah, the ever-giving well from which all our sacred stories emanate, and from which our spiritual, intellectual, and creative Jewish life springs, those moments so very long ago in the Sinai desert, where we accepted the responsibility to, as a people, forge our future, become God's peeps, and adhere to the Holy One. Those moments resonate now. Tonight, as you formally install Rabbi Kail, as she forges a link in the tradition that began with Abraham and Sarah all the way up to you, the members of Temple Bethel. I am certain that your future together will strengthen one another and the Jewish people.
As a community, we rise in body or in spirit as we turn to page 152 and say the words of Shabbat.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Ha'ed.
You may be seated if you wish.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
It's my pleasure to invite up Linda Belzer to lead us as the president of Sisterhood.
I, Miriam, stand at the sea and turn to face the desert, stretching endless and still. My eyes are dazzled, the sky brilliant blue, sunburnt sands unyieldingly white. My hands turn to dove wings. My arms reach for the sky, and I want to sing the song rising inside me. My mouth open, I stop. Where are the words? Where the melody? In a moment of panic, my eyes go blind. Can I take a step without knowing the destination? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away from under me? The song, still unformed, how can I sing? To take the first step, to sing a new song, is to close one's eyes and dive into unknown waters. For a moment, knowing nothing, risking all, and then to discover the waters are friendly. The ground is firm. And the song rises again. Out of my mouth come words lifting the wind, and I hear, for the first time, the song that has been in my heart, silent, unknown, even to me.
Thank you so much.
Words to Miriam's song can be found in the back of your handout that you received as you came in. And the women dancing with the timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one that sang our history. And Miriam, with every step of every thread, she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing through the timbers followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing through their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Page 158. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 la. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 la. Yai lai la lai lai yai lai ya la lai. Yai la lai lai ya la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilo tosei feleh, nora tehilo tosei feleh. Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, u'piyayam lifnei Moshe. Se'elianu ve'amru, se'elianu ve'amru. Adonai imalo le'olam ha'ed. Adonai imlo le'olam ha'ed. Ya lai lai la lai la 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 la. Ya lai lai la ya la 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 la. Ya lai la lai la ya lai ya la lai. Ya la lai la ya la 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 la. ונאמר כי ודע אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Hello, my name is Rabbi Michal Loving. I grew up in the Long Beach Jewish community and was lucky enough to meet Rabbi Cassi Kail in our first year of rabbinical school in 2006 in Jerusalem. We immediately became friends and kept in touch throughout the years. When I found out that she was interviewing at Temple Beth, I was so excited. I knew it would be an amazing match for the temple, as well as for her and Josh and Talia and Noam. When Rabbi Kail first told me about the beautiful artwork that was created to celebrate this night, I was blown away by the concept of the open tent. And I asked her, what does this mean to you? And as you all know, Rabbi Kail has an amazing way with words. This is what she said. Temple Beth has a reputation for being a warm and welcoming congregation. From the hugs received at the door to the ways we put our arms around one another at the end of the service singing O Say Shalom, it's tightly knit. People are eager to meet new people and to help them feel at ease. This has been part of the TBE way for many, many years. 2 years ago, we hired a part-time worker to lead what we called the Open Tent Project. Its goal was to lower the barriers of inclusion by gaining more visibility in the community. Unfortunately, right after the project started, so did the pandemic. While it didn't progress as originally envisioned, it inspired conversation about how to lower barriers and be more inclusive. We've started a diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility task force, making the community more accessible for people with disabilities, more welcoming for Jews of color and the LGBTQIA+ community. We've been highlighting different Jewish customs from around the world. The goal is to truly embrace every individual and to honor the differences and similarities between us. For me personally, said Rabbi Kail, and this will surprise none of you, this is a labor of love, she says. I have always been so warmly embraced by the Jewish community. I am committed to paying that embrace forward. Judaism isn't for some of us. It's for all of us. I consider the work of inclusion to be some of the most meaningful work I do. Well, because of this and many other reasons, I consider Rabbi Kail to be a phenomenal rabbi. She is kind, thoughtful, a deeply empathic listener, and a woman who truly gives of her heart. Rabbi Kail, may you and Temple Beth grow together as your communal tent remains open to all. And may your journey be long and full of wisdom and truly be forever blessed. Amen.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, Le'shalom. Eidivenu, Shomreinu Lefayim. Ufros Aleinu. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu Le'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We turn to page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soil, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We turn to page 164 and rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
we turn to our Misha Berach prayer, our prayer for healing for people in our community and people in our hearts. And as I go around the room, I invite you to say aloud the name of anyone for whom you'd like to offer this prayer. And for those of you online, please write in the chat the name of anyone for whom you'd like to say this prayer as well.
Barry Tischler, Norman Cantor, Robin Gregson, Carol Zeifman, Pat Wade.
For the name of everyone who we said out loud and everyone whose names we hold silently in our hearts, let us offer this Misha Berach prayer. 371.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, רופא החולים. Blessed are you, God, whose presence is with all of those in need, as we all say, Amen.
As we pray for people in our community and in our hearts who are in need of any kind of healing, healing of mind, healing of body, healing of spirit, so too do we pray and work for the well-being of those in the greater South Bay community. We turn to our next symbol, the symbol of Devorah, the judge and prophet, who devoted her life to this cause. And I am so blessed to be able to call up two members of the San Pedro Faith Consortium to come up here. Connie McOsker, who is, trying to get this right, student in the Licensed Pastor Program through the Garden Church, and Reverend Amanda Riley. Thank you both so much for being here.
Shabbat Shalom. I've been in San Pedro for about 5 years now, and it did not take long at all for me to immediately become acquainted with Temple Bethel through the acts of community service with Family Promise, as well as efforts all around the community in a desire to care for the least of these, those who are in need in our midst. And I have always been taught that social justice is two feet walking, two things together. One is acts of service, tikkun olam, working in the world to repair the world, and the other is direct action, advocacy. And it wasn't long being in this community that I heard about an effort when the epidemic of gun violence became very prevalent, that this temple and its leadership wrote an op-ed and then also worked very diligently to bring together an interfaith panel on gun violence. And now with Rabbi Cassi in our midst, it is such a blessing to work with her and to have her as a friend and colleague in ministry, because she is the one who is always saying, I think it's time for the religious voice. Shall we have an op-ed? Shall we do this? Shall we speak up? And so it is such an incredible blessing to be working with her. Following the murder of George Floyd, Rabbi Cassi worked diligently to bring together an interfaith community, including African-American clergy from the Harbor Gateway area. And we were able to meet consecutively online for many, many, many weeks to help deepen our own understanding of our place in this, the landscape of race and racism. And it was an incredible blessing that she helped organize that as well. And so we, the San Pedro Faith Consortium, represented by the two of us this evening, have an incredible gratitude for your congregation, the work that you all are doing at this moment in your 100-year history, and at this moment on this evening when you install this phenomenal rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you both so very much. Thank you, Reverend Amanda, for your words.
So the last of the symbols, I was wondering, I'm like, uh-oh. The last of the symbols in Mordechai's beautiful Centennial piece is Jacob's ladder. In chapter 28 of Genesis, we read Jacob's incredible dream, in which he visualizes a connectivity between God and those of us on earth, through the ladder upon which angels are ascending and descending. When he wakes, startled by his vision, he proclaims, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh ve'anochi lo yadati. Behold, God is in this place, and I did not know. In the next verse, he proclaims the words which are written over the entrance of Temple Bethel. Our synagogue. This is none other than Bethel. This is the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. This very unique 100-year-old community embodies these words through our holy connections with each other, our spiritual connectivity which manifests itself in the generations-long relationships which are built here. These Lador Vador relationships become the families we choose, where everyone's loved and where everyone cares. We are the congregation who embraces not only Torah, but each other. We are the community who reaches out to those who may be underserved or may feel marginalized. We are the inclusive community where Jewish and Jewish-adjacent members have always been a part of our family. We are leaders, not only in our local Jewish community, but our national Jewish consciousness, our city, our county, and ultimately our world, engaged in acts of tikkun olam, repairing the wrongs of the world, not only because it is the right thing, but because it represents our spirituality, b'malchut Shaddai, under the sovereignty of the one with whom our patriarch Jacob wrestled, and we, as his legacy, continue to wrestle with every day. As we install you, Cassie, as our rabbi, today. May you embody this spirit and these values. May you guide us in our wrestling with the divine. May you dream with us of godliness in our world. And may we all ultimately declare together, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh ve'anochi yadati. Behold, God is indeed in this place, this Beit El, this house of God. And we all know it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now is the point of the actual installation. And there was something very purposeful in this service. We've heard from some incredible people who are very dear to me over the course of this service. But there purposefully isn't a single person who is installing me, especially someone from the outside. Because this is a community action. This is a brit. This is a covenant. This is something that we're doing together as we can 3 years into my being able to be here, right? And to be able to look around this room and to know the people in it truly is a blessing to me. So we're going to turn to our installation where I invite up our past and our current temple presidents to come up here as we will hand the Torah down. And I invite you to bring your little booklets
Yes.
as you do.
Pass Torah now from generation to generation through our past presidents to our current presidents. And, that first, sorry, Rabbi.
So inside on the first floor.
Past presidents reading. 1, 2, 3.
Moses received the Torah at Mount Sinai. He transmitted it to Joshua. Joshua in turn passed it to the elders, the elders to the prophets. The prophets transmitted the Torah to the sages of the great assembly. The sages taught 3 things: be deliberate in judgment, raise up many disciples, and protect the integrity of the Torah. This chain of tradition is linked Sinai to the very moment. It continues now as it has in every generation. Rabbi Cassi, as you take the Torah now, you do so as the next change in our congregation's leadership.
Our God and God of our ancestors, bestow your blessings on Rabbi Cassi and Temple Beth. Instill in her wisdom and righteousness, steadfastness and devotion. Grant her a wise heart, candor, and courage. May she respond to every challenge with dignity, implant within her a full measure of your compassion, that she might embody the words of our tradition. Be a disciple of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving all people and drawing them closer to Torah.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור we protect this chain.
generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name. Ledor vador, nagidon lecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name.
I humbly receive this Torah with gratitude and appreciation for every single one of you who are here, for all of you leaders who are here at home, and for all who have come before me. From the wise leaders who dreamt our community into being 100 years ago, to the early rabbis who partnered with temple leadership to create an inclusive and loving community filled with sanctity and Torah, to Rabbi David Lieb, whose humor, warm embrace, and love of teaching Judaism to all ages enriched this temple beyond measure, to Rabbi Chuck Briskin, whose wisdom, commitment to interfaith work and justice, and whose creativity was a source of inspiration. I am humbled by the trust that you all place in me now. Over the past 3 years, you have embraced me as your rabbi, even during the most extraordinary of circumstances. You have given me the honor of teaching your children, of consecrating and confirming incredible students, of preparing them for bar mitzvah, crafting services that celebrated the significance of this family moment, even when COVID required us to do it in out-of-the-box ways. You have granted me the privilege of officiating at your children's baby namings and brisses and weddings, to take some of you to the mikveh as you officially join the Jewish people. You have asked me to do the holy task of officiating at funerals for your loved ones and friends, of holding your hands virtually and physically at times of challenge and hardship, during crises of faith, or periods of uncertainty and transition. You have granted me the gift of being a teacher for people of all ages. Rabbi Hanina was right when he said, I have learned much from my teachers, more from my colleagues, and most from my students. Whether an introduction to Judaism classes, Torah study, or Naor, I continue to learn so very much from every one of you. I have been here for 3 years, but look forward to many, many years ahead. And as I continue my rabbinate, I want to, holding this Torah, make a promise to all of you. To continue to honor Temple Bethel's rich history as we build for a promising future. To learn and teach Torah alongside you, finding new insights and inspiration from the text that we are so blessed to inherit. I commit to keeping my door open, remaining receptive to your wisdom and experience, to lowering barriers to participation, embracing people of all backgrounds and abilities as we work toward the shared value of inclusion. I will do all I can in partnership with you to foster a sense of belonging for families of all shapes and sizes, people of all backgrounds, colors, sexualities, sexual orientations, to people who are Jewish by birth and Jewish by choice and Jewish adjacent. I promise to work for justice and act with compassion, taking the teachings of our faith beyond these walls. I will continue to speak the truth and do my part to create a more sacred world. I will continue to support the congregation's work of Tikkun Olam, responding to the needs of people in the greater community. From taking lunches for people who fell on hard times, to sponsoring a refugee family, to helping our partners raise money for communities in Ukraine, to collecting medical supplies and volunteering with Family Promise, our temple community has for some time and will continue to, in the words of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, pray with our feet. I commit to nurturing my own faith so that I can authentically lead you in prayer. I recognize that each of us connect to our faith in a different way, whether through study or through nature, through music or through action. I promise to work with you to create meaningful ways to connect with the one on high. I commit to being present for you in times of joy and times of challenge, to rejoice and to mourn alongside you, to be a confidential ear or a shoulder to cry on, to work with you in honoring big, exciting moments in your lives. I promise to uplift and support the great work done by engagement and outreach committees of the Mensch Club and the Sisterhood and the Caring Committee, which enable sacred connections, allowing us to support and care for one another. May we celebrate one another's joys, accept one another's shortcomings, honor one another's talents, and listen to one another with respect and with love. I am filled with gratitude for the incredible leaders that I get to work with each day. Our executive director, Carrie Jacobs, who's back there somewhere. Our cantor, Alon Davidson. Our educator, Randy Scher. Our finance and HR director extraordinaire, Shoni. Our incredible Torah school teachers, Lisa and Michelle, Hadass, and Barbara and Jessica. Our board and our committee chairs, and more dedicated congregational leaders than I can even count. May we go from strength to strength. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'yemotenu, my God and God of our ancestors, I pray that you will be my guide as I humbly lead this holy community. May we work together as sacred partners to fulfill the vision and mission of this Kehila Kedusha, this holy community, dedicated to Torah, worship, inclusion, tikkun olam, and most importantly, to the sacred relationships that we built.
Amen.
As you go on your way, may you be guided in peace. May you be blessed with health and joy. May this be your blessing. Amen. By the wings of peace, may you be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way into your soul. May this be your blessing. Amen. Join me in blessing. Blessing. Amen. 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 May this be your blessing. Amen. Time. חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר תרחק דרכי נועם בכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו חדש ימינו חדש ימינו
Good. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
This night is a long time in coming, but that doesn't make it any more joyful or meaningful. To help us celebrate, I would like to invite Jacob Haik, Councilman Joe Buscaino's deputy, to come up and help celebrate.
So I promised your cancer that I would keep it under 30 minutes. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Jacob Hake. I am Councilman Buscaino's Deputy Chief of Staff. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. Normally when the cantor calls upon all elected offices, everybody is here. As you all full aware, that it's election season, and so with a couple weeks out, time is very, very important. But I am truly blessed to be here. When the cantor sent the email, I had to reread it because I was like, wait a minute, she's been here for quite some time. So, and we spend a lot of time together. Our kids have grown up together, so I thought, okay, is he messing with me? Then so we called in. But it's been a blessing to serve alongside the rabbi, and it's a blessing to be here tonight. And as you listen to the speakers who spoke through video about carrying the traditions of Temple Beth forward, she has done that. Just engaging the community, engaging leadership. Everybody knows your rabbi and your cantor. So, but it's just, and it's fitting, the way she leads and engages the community. And there's not a greater time than now to have that kind of passion and love and compassion for our community. And not just for our community, but this world. The things that are happening now, I truly believe that God works in mysterious ways. He doesn't make mistakes. She's here for a reason. It's according to God's plan. And it reminds me of one of my favorite scriptures, Jeremiah 29:11, where it talks about that God has a plan for us. And I know he has a plan for you here, and there's a reason why you're here. And we are blessed to receive you. So on behalf of the great city of Los Angeles and Councilman Joe Buscaino, we want to present this certificate of recognition to you. Thank you so much.
In addition to Joe Buscaino's presentation, we would like to, on behalf of Janice Hahn, present this proclamation to you.
I feel like I'm so far away.
It says, County of Los Angeles, Rabbi Cassi Kail, Installation Ceremony, Temple Beth. On behalf of the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles, I, Janice Hahn, Supervisor, 4th District, extend congratulations and well wishes on this momentous occasion.
Thank you so much.
What a wonderful evening, even though, yes, indeed, it's a long time coming. Well worth it. Rabbi Cassi, I recall very well at a dinner where some of us who represented all of us here participated in our rabbinic search. And at that dinner, I said to you, I know why we are interested in you. Why are you interested in Temple Beth? And she said the following. She wanted to be our rabbi because she admired our longevity. At that time, it wasn't quite 100 years, but who's counting, yeah? She knew about us. She had done her homework. She knew that we were invested in Tikkun Olam, and you heard about that this evening in many ways. But what touched my heart, because we know each other, is Rabbi Cassi, you described us as a Hamish community. And you were 100% right. Right, everybody? Exactly who we are. Exactly what Cantor Elon explained to us this evening. We made the right choice. We knew that going into it, but clearly you've learned you've made the right choice. We had a common enemy, COVID. We fought it, we're fighting it, we're going to continue. We're going to be the best we can be, and we're going to be better. You've been a gift to us, no doubt about it. And now it's our turn to give you a gift from your board of directors on behalf of this entire congregation. So if you'd come over, maybe to the middle, because we'll put it in the middle here. I can't do the description as an artist might, but we enthusiastically looked for a piece of art that represented our relationship with you, your relationship with us. And the words down here read, "Our light shines brighter together." Josh was a big help because he had to look around the house and make sure you didn't have this piece of art. Thank you, Josh. Cantor Elon was the sneak around here. He contacted Josh. He contacted our artist. He did the whole 9 yards for us. Now, I must tell you, Linda and I got to do a little bit of the shopping, which is what we like to do, right? Right alongside Cantor Elon. This represents our thank you to you, and we hope that you accept this gift in the spirit that it's meant, that we do appreciate you, and we know that you appreciate us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Good job.
This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. I knew there were parts of the service I wasn't allowed to know about, but I am just so deeply touched by all of that. So now I need to give you announcements. Talk about killing a moment, right? But I mean, first and foremost, it's just huge, huge thank yous to every single person who took part in this service today, for all of you for being here, for your beautiful words and offerings, and for everyone being present, whether here in person, on Zoom, on Facebook, or on YouTube. Thank you so, so very much. Thank you to Bob Bremstein for always bringing us such beautiful music to uplift our souls. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Sisterhood and the board for the oneg that we'll get to enjoy in just a few minutes. That's outside on the patio, with a little reminder that when we're in here, we need to be wearing our masks. I'm saying this without wearing a mask at the moment because I'm all the way up here, but that's why. When we're in the building, please keep your masks on, but when you go out on the patio, you can take it off in order to enjoy the food and drinks that are out there for you. You'll see Mordechai's art. Mordechai Rosenstein's art is in the social hall behind you, so I encourage you to go, look at it, check it out, and you can purchase pieces, including the one created for the Temple Centennial. Tomorrow morning, we'll have an out-of-the-box service at 10 a.m., with food afterwards, and tomorrow night our dinner and comedy show, and then Sunday morning our last day of Torah school for the year with a special program with the Bible players and Mordechai Rosenstein. We have so many blessings ahead of us. And with that, we turn to our Aleinu prayer on page 586, and I invite you to rise once more.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שנאנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At the end of our service, we turn to memory, remembering people who have died in recent days and weeks. We remember Fritzi Schneider, Barbara Turek Griesdorf, Jack Silverberg, Elliot Bruner, and Sam Morris. We're also observing yard sites for Perlene Altman, Anna Ark, Ronnie Belzer, Eli Berger, Francis Berman, Jacob Broad, Jacob Cook, Tamar Davidson, Frida Dubin, Eugene Feingold, Harold Fenton, Lou Fishman, Sol Gabin, Moses Menachem Gallant, Max Glassman, Nikki Hamilton, Edward Herman, Albert Hirschman, Joseph Hodes, Robert Jackman, Louis Kahan, Goldie Kadenek, Lionel Richard Kay, Isaac Landy, Joseph Siegel Lee, Dina Levine, Edward Loveman, Felix Meyer, Joseph Newman, Stanford Opner, Shirley Pike, Nathan Remstein, Sani Richards, Sylvia Rose, Harry Rosenkrantz, Louis Rubenfeld, Nathan Sable, Joel Satin, Harry Sachs, Sally Schlechter, Rose Marie Schwartz, Malvina Schwimmer, Ethel Schaefer, Donald Patrick Shannon, Ted Simon, Lou Singer, Irving Sobel, Julius Taus, Jenny Tufeld, Irene Tyson, Carmen Vickers, Gail Weiner, David Weiner, Ada Judson, and Louis Zinger. In memory of all of the people whose names we've said out loud and all those whose names we hold in our hearts, I invite us to rise in body or spirit as one community. On page 598, we offer the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach cherotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה. דמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבא מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be a blessing.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום. שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Now go and eat.
If you're joining us on Zoom, it'll just be a moment while we get you into breakout rooms. Dig the ending. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my honor. I'm sorry, I'm just dealing with technology at the same time is always fun. Anyways, true honor. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It is our time? 8:35. It's 11:35 your time. Oi.
I'm on the run constant now, so what's that make? Something like 21 hours?
Oh no. Oi. I'm so sorry.
No, it was worth it.
Good. Good. happy it was worth it. Thank you. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Oh. Well, thank God. Nicely done.